For assessing the potential liquidity risks for a country, particularly important is information on payments coming due in the near term, for example, within 1 year. Similar to original maturity, remaining maturity can be short-term, 1 year or less, or long-term, more than 1 year. However, the same instrument can be long-term on original maturity and short-term on remaining maturity. For example, in September 2020, the maturity of a loan that was granted in January 2015 and is due for payment in December 2020 would be long-term according to the original maturity because the period from the issue date, January 2015, until the final contractually scheduled payment, December 2020, is more than 1 year. The same loan would be classified as short-term according to the remaining maturity criteria, as from the reference date, September 2020, until the due for payment date, December 2020, there are 4 months, less than 1 year. Short-term debt on a remaining maturity basis can be calculated by adding short-term debt on an original maturity basis plus long-term debt on an original maturity basis that is due within 1 year. Short-term debt on a remaining maturity basis also includes all arrears. For example, assume that at the end of year T, the total amount of loan liabilities of a country is 1,100, of which, on an original maturity basis, 400 is short-term and 700 is long-term. It is known that 250 of the 700 loans that are long-term on an original maturity basis are due during the next year, year T plus 1. In addition, 100 of the 700 long-term loans on an original maturity basis are in arrears. To calculate the amount of short-term loan liabilities on a remaining maturity basis at the end of year T, we add to the amount of short-term loans on an original maturity basis, 400, the amount of long-term loans on an original maturity basis that are due within 1 year, 250, and the amount of long-term loans on an original maturity basis in arrears, 100. Consequently, the amount of short-term loan liabilities on a remaining maturity basis is 750. The remaining 350, which is 700 minus 250 minus 100, due to be paid over 1 year ahead, is classified as long-term debt on a remaining maturity basis. The short or long-term classification according to original maturity is prioritized in external debt statistics, but classification according to remaining maturity is also recommended as supplementary information.